that, did they? I'll try that again. Ahoy, mateys! How is everyone today? I don't think they've quite gotten the hang of it yet. We're gonna try this one more time. Ahoy, mateys! There we go. How is everyone today? That's fantastic. Welcome to Unity of Tucson. I'm Captain Jonathan Zenz, captain of this pirate ship here today. Yes, I am. And we are here to celebrate love and light and laughter. That's what Halloween is all about for me. It's all about laughter. So what do you say we take it up? We're going to enjoy the morning with our guest artist who's going to lead us off this morning with I Can See Clearly Now. Can you see clearly?
Yarg.
Absolutely. Here
Yarg.
we go. Charlie Hall.
Yeah.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Well, gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, sunshining day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshining day. I think I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, sunshining day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Oh, look straight ahead, nothing but blue skies. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. That's right. Hey. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, sunshining day. That's right. It's gonna be a bright, sunshining day. Oh, it's gonna be a bright, sunshining day. Let's hear it. Oh, it's gonna be a bright, sunshining day.
That's Charlie Hall. Thank you so much. All right, I'm not doing the whole service in a pirate brogue today. That would get a little old, especially when I get into the message of the day. You'd be like, will you please stop? So thank you all for being here this morning at Unity of Tucson. We are a spiritual community where we like to have fun. And I'm so grateful to see so many people who dressed up today and those who dressed in their most magnificent God selves as well. So grateful to have you all here. Yes. We are a spiritual community. We are here to understand one thing and to teach one thing, and that there is one power, one presence, one infinite source that is a principle of creation. That's all that exists. That's the only thing that exists, and we are each and every one of us part of that. And so I like to do this in a way that is high energy. If you don't know, I come from a theatrical background. Duh. Darwin, duh. So I like to bring a lot of, the theater to the work that I do, because part of my vision and ministry is enlightenment through entertainment. Yes. And one thing is, what I like to say is that we take our spirituality very seriously, but we also like to have a lighthearted nature within that. So let's have a lighthearted nature today. What do you say? If you are here for the first time, I want to let you know you may not believe everything you hear today. Even if you've been here before, you may not believe everything you hear today, but I guarantee you, you're going to hear something you believe. Let's start off today by exclaiming together the vision statement for Unity of Tucson. Will you help me in saying this, please? We envision a world awakened to its magnificence. We envision a world awakened to its magnificence. What does that mean? I envision, and if you're with me on this, because we do say, wait, if you're with me on this, let's envision an understanding that everybody has the understanding that they are so magnificent, not because of anything they do, but it's just the core of who they are. That's the world that I am looking to create through this thing called ministry, and I'm grateful that you're here with me. We get to this vision, we create this vision through our mission. The mission is the practical way we get there. And so, let's say this together. This is our mission statement. Love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. And today, I am a pirate. Har. Love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. You are the most magnificent expression of an infinite divine power. That's who you are, and that's all I see when I look out on the beautiful faces of everybody who is in this room. It's all I see in the magnificent visages of those who are online, and know that we feel your presence here, and I'm deeply grateful that you've decided to join us online this morning. If you are here for the first time, if you're online, we would love to know that you've joined us. If you would go to unitytucson.com/connect. You can fill out some information there and just let us know that you've shared this time with us. Grateful to have you here. If you are here for the first time in the room, I don't dress like a pirate every week. Aww. But I would love to, if you feel comfortable identifying yourself, we have some gifts that we would like to share with you. So if you would like to stand up, if you're new here today, joining us for the very first time, grateful to have you here. Thank you so much for being here. And if you would, remain standing. I'm going to invite you to remain standing because there's something else that we're going to offer to you, and that is the research that this community has done about you. There is something that we have discovered that we know about you, and this is what it is. You are magnificent. Absolutely magnificent. Thank you so much. You can be seated. You know, it's important to understand, this world of magnificence that we talk about, it's important to understand that we can see the magnificence of others. But here's why we can see the magnificence of others. We can see it in other people when we truly understand it about ourselves. And so I would love for us all to exclaim this. I am magnificent. Yes, magnificence all around. Yes. Hi, Charlie. You are magnificent. Grateful to have you here today. So let's take some time. We're going to do a little bit of centering, some meditation, if you wanted to call it that. Just allow ourselves to deepen into this time and this place. While this experience is high energy, the energy can be infused in contemplation. And so I invite us all to relax right where we are. Simply releasing anything that has preceded this moment, anything we may have walked into the room with. We get to be here now, right in this perfect moment. Let us release any anticipation for what is to unfold. If it's safe and comfortable, if you'd like, you can close your eyes. You can keep them open. You can let them fall to a soft gaze. It doesn't matter. Allow yourself the luxury of being able to turn the attention to the inner life for just a few moments. Deepening into an awareness of the thoughts, the feelings, the beliefs that are happening in that inner life. Just deepening into an awareness. Letting go of the need to control right in this moment. knowing it is in awareness that we have the capacity to step into choices about the experience of the inner life. And knowing that that inner life is magnificently flowing forth to create the construct and expression of our outer circumstances. Settling into an awareness of the breath. Just being aware without the need to control the breath. Just notice the activity of every inhale and every exhale. The breath is a reflection of infinite circulation. Each and every one of us living in a flow of magnificence. I'm going to speak the words of this month's affirmation. I invite you to take these words, see what feelings come up around them. And then let's take a few moments to silently contemplate these words. I'll say it a few times. I dream it. I perceive it. I accept it. I achieve it. And I know what it is for me. I dream it. I perceive it, I accept it, I achieve it, and I know what it is for me. I dream it, I perceive it, I accept it, I achieve it, and I know what it is for me.
Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there's air, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender, let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me, now and evermore. Right here in this moment,
I live in the assured awareness of the one power, the one presence, the one infinite source of all creation. A magnificent, energetic resource. I know that this is all that exists. There is nothing else. And while I call it by many names, including the name God, it is so far beyond the language we use to describe it. It is ineffable. And I know that this energy, this creative nature, is showing up as all that is, all form is the construct and outflow of this energy by some act in and of itself and upon itself. And so I recognize that the core identity of each and every one of us is divine. This is our magnificence. And there is absolutely no aspect of our being that is not divine. And so I accept this, I trust this, I live within this construct. And I know that living within this and understanding this and accepting this, the life I lead flows forth in joy, in harmony, peace, love, infinite health, magnificent relationships. I know this because I accept it. And I know that each and every one of us, by the very aspect of being present here, by being present on this face of existence, is living the life of God. And so in this acceptance, with gratitude overflowing from within, magnificent feelings of gratitude, I simply allow it to be. I trust in its pure, perfect unfoldment in the lives of each and every one of us. And knowing this to be so, I affirm it as so by saying, and so it is. Amen. Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without, all I need is here and now. Where there's air, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender, let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me, now and evermore, now and evermore. We'd like to invite Mary Alls to the stage, to the platform today. You're hung up in your wires. That happens to me sometimes. Mary is our keeper of the flames, who lights the candles. These are the flames of faith. And we light the candles every week in honor of the world traditions, the faith traditions of the world, the spiritual paths, the religious ideas, with this understanding that for each candle that we light, we are affirming that all these paths are rooted in a golden thread of love. And so we begin by lighting a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to love, the divine will of love, as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light a candle for all faith traditions unnamed in this ceremony, and for any seekers who may be unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space that we are keeping open for them in our hearts. And this candle, this final candle we light, we call the healing candle. The healing candle represents the illumination, the uncovering, the expression of God at the core of all creation. For that is how we teach healing within this philosophy, that God is at the core of it all, and as we uncover the God essence at the core, we experience healing. And so this is your candle, for whatever is in your mind and in your heart that requires the light. Thank you. The candle here on your left is our peace candle, and we keep the peace candle consistently illuminated, as it represents the consistent illumination of peace in our hearts. And as we allow that peace to inform our thoughts, to inform our deeds, to inform our actions and intentions, we create a more peaceful experience of life. And so let's honor this candle together by reading the prayer for world peace. Divine love indwells each person and radiates from one to another. Harmony is established and peace begins to reign in the world. Hi, Mary.
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm trying to veg out today.
Trying to veg out today. I see.
I know I don't really do a great costume, but I'm a black-eyed pea.
Oh. I get it now.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, you came in and I'm like, what? I don't get it. I'm glad you explained it to me. It's wonderful. So some of you, if you're new here, you may be wondering what's happening now. So each week I give homework, right, Mary?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh. It's going to be a doozy today, I think. Each week I give homework because part of the tradition for me is that if it's not practical, then what are we doing here? We have to be able to put this spiritual practice into practice. And so I give homework every week. And the keeper of the flames each week comes up, and I ask them about how the homework went during the week. So let me remind everybody what the homework was last week. We're studying spiritual economics. This is our fall renewal series. We're reading a book, and each week for 6 weeks I've been talking about various aspects of being, rooted in the concepts that are in this book. Well, last week I gave this as homework. I said, create a balance sheet for your life. A spiritual balance sheet, specifically. And what I wanted everybody to do is take a piece of paper. Yes, I wanted you to write it down. And I wanted you to write all of your spiritual assets. What are spiritual assets? Those are things that are pluses in your life. I also then wanted you to look at everything that you considered potentially to be a spiritual liability in your life. What are spiritual liabilities? All those challenging things we consider minuses in our life, right? So you've got your spiritual assets and your spiritual liabilities. And the idea is you weigh them against each other. And if your assets outweigh your liabilities, well, then you're in a good place of equity, right? Spiritual equity, your own sense of value. If it's the other way around, then maybe there's some work to be done there, right? So, I want to know from you, Mary. Well, and here's the other thing. I did say no judgment, Just awareness, because it is in awareness that we get to choose to make change. So it's not a thing to beat yourself up over, just awareness. So how did it go for you?
It was challenging. My assets turned out to be relationships, and my debits turned out to be relationships.
Oh.
And it was I felt sort of like Santa Claus. I was making a list and checking it twice, if you were good or naughty. And I ended up with hundreds of people on my good list. Really, really. And they came out of the woodwork to come and tell me that we were friends. I had people I had not seen in months show up in my life. And I didn't do it, they did. Then when it came to the naughty list, I had a very short list. And then I realized that I had a lot of difficulty with my short list, a whole lot of difficulty. And that raised all kinds of issues for me this week. And then it occurred to me that I had put them on that list. They didn't go on the list on purpose. I put them there. So guess what? I can take them off.
There
so
you go.
easy.
You've just intuited my talk today.
So anyway, if you're on my short list, you're no longer on it. You're on my good list. That is it.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mary. Before you go away, I have one more question for you. So you talked about, you've admitted to this. You put them on the list in wherever position they ended up, right? How much weight, even though your liabilities list may have been shorter, how much weight did you put into the liabilities?
A lot.
And did that weight outweigh the weight of your assets?
For a few days it did. But then when I realized that didn't have to be that way, it sort of swapped. And I have no liability list right now.
So you're out of debt.
I'm out of debt.
Love it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I love that exercise. I hope you enjoy it. I mean, I was like, did you enjoy that? Because if everybody says no, I don't want to hear it. I've always loved that particular exercise. I find great value in it. I also find great value in the people that we bring to be our guest artists here at Unity of Tucson, and today is no different. I'm so grateful that we have singing for us Charlie Hall. So please welcome Charlie Hall with our featured song of the day.
God shall get, them that's not shall lose. So the Bible says, and it still is news. Well, Mama may have, and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own. That's got his own. Yeah, the strong seem to get more, while the weak ones fade. Empty pockets don't grade. Well, Mama may have, and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. And when you got money, you've got lots of friends crowding around your door. But when the money's gone and all the spending ends, they won't be around anymore. And rich relations may give you a crust of bread and such. You can help yourself, but don't take too much, 'cause Mama may have, and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Of friends crowding around that door. When the money's gone and all your spending days, they won't be around anymore. And rich relations may give you a crust of bread and such. Well, you can help yourself, oh, but don't take too much. Well, 'cause Mama may have, and Papa may have, but God bless the child who can stand up and say, I've got my own. Every child's gotta have his own. Yeah.
Charlie Hall. Thank you. God bless the child that's got his own. You know, we all got our own, because we all have our mind. And that's the important lesson, I think, ultimately, is to know that, you know, it actually doesn't matter how much money you have. Now, there may be people who say, oh, it matters. But money is simply an expression of consciousness, and as we expand our consciousness, as we expand the understanding of our beingness, as we expand the understanding and live in an awareness of the good that is inherent right here for each and every one of us, we can never be without. We can never be without. So I gave that homework last week to create the spiritual balance sheet. And what was funny is that I opened up the book Spiritual Economics, and the very first question of the chapter that, the first of the two chapters that basically today's talk sort of loosely covers, the very first sentence was a question. It said, what is your most important asset? I thought, well, I just talked about assets and liabilities last week. So are we backtracking? No. No. What is your most important asset? So I want you all to just for a moment, if you've read the chapter, you know what the answer is, I imagine, but just consider for yourself quietly in this moment what you consider your most important asset to be. Just reflect on it for a moment. Because I have an idea about what I think
our most important asset universally is, the most important asset we all have, the most important asset we all carry. The most important asset, I believe, is choice. That we live lives of choice. That is the most magnificent asset we have. Now, there's a fundamental part of this teaching that goes along with this idea of choice, and having a background initially in the religious science branch of New Thought, one of those things that sticks with me, you study religious science for 15 years, and there are things that stick with you. And Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, said this around choice. He said that we are bound because we are first free. People are like, what? That has to do with choice? It absolutely has to do with choice. We are bound because we are first free. We are free to make choices. We have this magnificent opportunity in every moment to make choices. And the moment we make a choice, we become bound by that choice until we decide to make a different choice. So we're never fully bound, right? Because we can always make a new choice. Now, a lot of people live their lives thinking, oh my gosh, I make a choice, and we work so hard. We're like, oh my gosh, I'm making a choice, and oh, what choice should I make? Because they think it can never be changed. Your choices can be changed. They just can. I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you that. Always. Your choices can be changed. He also says this about freedom. We are bound because we are first free, and freedom is the birthright of every living soul. Freedom is the birthright of every living soul. So we have the capacity to decide in this moment, irrespective of whatever has preceded this moment, to say, I got my own. I got my own. I know who I am. And that inherently makes me a rich individual. And it doesn't matter if it's reflected in money. It doesn't matter if it's reflected over here in relationships. It doesn't matter how it's reflected to me. When I know who I am, all of the circumstances of my life align according to that frame of mind. And none of it has anything to do that out there. It's all here. Emily Cady, who wrote Lessons in Truth, which is one of the fundamental texts that we use in Unity, wrote this. And before I put it up, there's some old-fashioned language in Emily's work, right? I mean, she was a product of her time. So I'm going to start with this word. Hitherto, we have believed that we received joy from outside circumstances and surroundings, but it is not so. Nothing that anyone does or says or fails to do or say can take away our joy and good. Hitherto, that means before, hitherto we have believed that we received joy from outside circumstances and surroundings, but it is not so. Nothing that anyone does or says or fails to do or say can take away from our joy or good. Do you believe that? Yes. Wholeheartedly? Yes. Is there any part of you that doesn't believe that? Oh, that was not quite so, yes. Oh, well, maybe, right? There is one thing that can take away our joy and good. And that is the belief that we are subject to circumstances outside the self. And even for me, I am still uncovering the ways in which I look to the circumstantial world and I go, oh, yep, I'm limited by that. More and more I say, let us let go of the concept of limitation. Because you are not bound by anything except your own choice to be bound. So if you believe there is power in that out there, guess what? It is done unto you as you believe. There is power in that out there. If you decide on a new path, then nothing that anyone does or says or fails to say or do can take away from your joy and your good. It's all choice. This is all choice. The entire experience and expression of life is choice. It's like trick-or-treating as a kid. It's all choice. You know, I remember when I was a kid, it was always finding out which house had the good candy. And was I going to choose to, delay that feeling of good by going to all these other houses first, or was I going to choose to go to that house first because I knew that they had the good candy? And if I didn't get there, well, then they may not have any of the good candy anymore, right? Here's another one. Is my costume sufficient to impress others? That was a big one when I was a kid. Did I have a costume that was going to impress all of my friends? Not always. But you know what? When we ask questions like that in terms of, does our appearance impress our friends? Well, then we are putting the sense of our value into the hands of others, into their opinions. There comes a time, this is the other thing about Halloween, and I'm grateful that we have dispelled this myth today. There is a time when you're too old for it. Not at all. My 14-year-old nephew says. Never. Wait till you're 48, like me. The idea that playfulness is only for children. It's not. We should be having a good time. We should be smiling and laughing in our experience of life. Are you having a good time? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. So here's the thing. The antidote to all of this is make different choices. If you are feeling less than, if you are putting your sense of value into the opinions of others, if you are feeling like you can't get to the house that has the good candy in enough time, let go of the choice that your good resides outside the self. It does not. In the book, Spiritual Economics, there's a story that Eric Butterworth tells about a man who goes to the doctor. And this is the kind of story we hear all the time. Someone goes to the doctor, and the doctor says, "You have 6 months to live." Well, what are you going to do with that information? If that was you, what would you do with that information? Are you going to choose to accept that as the expression and experience of your life, or are you going to choose something different? Now, what this man did is he said, okay, I hear you. I understand that this is the information that I have been given, and I am going to do what I have always done. He says, I will do what I have always done, live with a grateful heart, one day at a time. Because if I put my focus on the 6 months from now, what am I creating in my present moment? Everything that is going to make that become the expression of my life. So, I will do what I have always done, he said, live with a grateful heart one day at a time. Let us live in the choice of good. Let us live in the choice of joy right here and right now, not make it contingent upon some future idea. The choice of gratitude in this man's heart expressed itself in a way that when this story was being written down in the book, that man had continued the experience of life for 10 more years. He was still living when this part of the book was written. I don't know what happened to him since. He's still alive. That's the talk on immortality I will give someday, because we all are immortal, but that's a whole other subject. But living the choice of experiencing your good now is a magnificent choice to make. The choice of gratitude as a core value, not as a reactionary emotion, supports better living. I'm going to say that again. The choice of gratitude as a core value, rather than a reactionary emotion, supports better living. What do I mean by that? I mean, let us not look to be grateful when something happens. Let us approach life with a grateful heart and trust that what shows up is in alignment with that gratitude. It is so fundamental, this idea, that gratitude is a state of mind and a core value state of mind, that it becomes part of the teaching of our prayer process. In every New Thought tradition, gratitude is part of the teaching of prayer. We have 5-step training in the prayer that is part of the religious science tradition and in Unity. The steps
are called different things and they slightly differ, but both traditions have gratitude as one of those steps. And I think it is very important that we adopt gratitude at our heart's level, because prayer, rooted in gratitude, becomes the causative energy of life. Prayer, rooted in gratitude, becomes the causative energy of life. And when we are infused with that feeling of gratitude, the prayer we speak becomes more effective than speaking words that are devoid of that feeling. Now, I have a little bit of a thing when I teach prayer, and I encourage people not to use thank you in the expression of prayer. And you may go, but you're talking about gratitude, right? But the moment you say thank you in prayer, you have now disassociated yourself from the thing for which you are expressing gratitude. It becomes something out there, and perhaps there's even a little inkling of an idea that you have to supplicate yourself to thank that thing out there for experiencing and expressing your good. Let that go. Gratitude is an inner feeling. And so if you ever, listen to my prayers, I'm going to encourage you all to listen to the prayers that I offer in service, because I always say something along the lines of, with gratitude overflowing from within, that sense of gratitude overflowing from within, I am fully supported in this moment and in every moment. It's never about thanking that which is out there. It's about feeling the gratitude. Early in the teaching of affirmative prayer, many will unwittingly approach the practice with this idea. They approach the practice like this. If I say the right words in just the right way, I might be able to trick God into granting me what I want. It's not going to happen. As if the right words compel creation. They don't. Feeling is what compels creation. The words are secondary to the feeling in prayer. The expression of language is actually a fundamentally flawed tool. Although we do our darndest to make it work, don't we? In the speaking of the prayer, it is more important to utilize words for yourself that enhance the experience of the feeling. And it is when we find ourselves in alignment with that feeling, and primarily the feeling of gratitude, that we experience the blessed expression of life that we are all often seeking. It's not about saying the right words ever. When I teach prayer, when I start doing classes in January, when I start teaching classes, and I start teaching prayer, I'm going to really be very clear to say it is not about saying the right words ever. It is about treating the mind into a spiritual realization. That's the purpose of prayer. So, is your approach in prayer, and this is something just to reflect on, is your approach in prayer to treat into spiritual realization, or trick some concept of an outside God into giving you something? And in fact, that's the question I will encourage us all to look at this week as we engage in prayer practice. And I encourage everyone to practice prayer every single day. So, there's something else I want to address, and that is that for clarity, because I do come from a different background, I come from the religious science branch of New Thought, and I've recently come into the Unity branch of New Thought. And there is some language, some jargon that we use that I want to get very clear on. There's a belief that unity differs from religious science in the concept of prayer as treatment. In religious science, we call it spiritual mind treatment. But what we mean is affirmative prayer. That's what we mean. We mean affirmative prayer. Now, there's this great book called The Revealing Word, written by Charles Fillmore, and he actually defines the word treatment. You ready for this? A treatment is a prayer of faith and understanding for healing, harmony,
wisdom, prosperity, or any other good that one may desire. Its object is to raise the consciousness of the one being treated. So the language is actually the same. The language is actually the same because this is exactly the same thing that is taught in all New Thought. The utilization of treatment, the specific practice of treatment as affirmative prayer, raises the consciousness of the one being treated. And that can be you treating for yourself, or if you are someone like a minister who is in this movement or a prayer chaplain, it is you working to raise the consciousness of yourself about the thing for which you are praying. It's not necessarily about raising the consciousness of the person out there, but if they are receptive to it, their consciousness will be raised. So there are a couple of important words here in this particular quote. Faith and understanding. Faith and understanding. At the core of the practice of affirmative prayer treatment is faith. Faith, the inward embodiment of an idea so deeply rooted that it has become unshakable. What do you have faith about? Notice I didn't say have faith in, because that puts it outside yourself. What do you have faith about in your own life? What is an idea that is so unshakable, so deeply rooted, that no one's going to change your mind about it? That is something about which you have faith. And the development and the use of spiritual practice is to develop faith in our lives. So I suggest that part of the development of faith in this particular spiritual philosophy is to teach an inward embodiment, and that is understanding. And what is it that we can understand? What is it that we can understand and embody? For me, there's one thing that overrides everything else, and that is knowing the truth of who we are. Knowing that there is no God outside the self, that the very presence and power of the divine is who we are. And it is beyond language, it is beyond words. Who we are is so magnificent that our light can never be distinguished. If you choose to, or because the prayer is the word of your life, and everything in your mind, everything spoken, everything becomes prayer, because you have so thoroughly embodied the notion of you, who you are. So this week's chapters in the book, Spiritual Economics, they're chapters that focus on gratitude and an encouragement for us to change our minds, from the ideas of limitation and lack consciousness to a consciousness of knowing where our good comes from. And where does our good come from? Not out there, it comes from right here, right there. Within each and every one of us is the magnificent good that we all seek. A lack of gratitude can block that understanding and blocks the source. And sometimes we inadvertently adopt a sense of limitation. And so part of spiritual practice is to move us past those blocks, right? And it's a lifelong experience and expression. I'm still working on it. As a minister, I've been doing this a long time. I'm still working on it every single day. You know, one of the things is we apologize far too frequently if we are not able to give in proportion to our perception of what others have to offer. For instance, I can only give $1. Have you ever heard yourself contributing yourself? I can only give $1. You go to the grocery store, and they're like, would you like to contribute to, whatever charity that grocery store may be supporting that week? And if there's a thought in your mind, it goes, I can only give $1. Or I can give only $5. That's something to look at, because the energy of that is a limitation in your own mind that there is a difference between a penny and $1 million. And in the infinite
There is no difference between a penny and $1 million. It is all source. 100% of it is source. So work in the direction of understanding that all sufficiency is always available. The form of that sufficiency matters less than keeping in circulation with the flow of good. And we cannot trick the infinite into more if we have a consciousness of insufficiency. There was a friend of mine who I will very briefly mention because they were living in an insufficiency consciousness. This is when I was studying, 15 years ago. They were living in an insufficiency of consciousness around their job. How many people have that going on? It's like, oh, the people I work with, they are just not in support of the way I want things to be, and I think I need to leave my job. Anyone ever say that? I've said that. I need to leave, not this job. I need to leave my job because it's not working out for me. But here's what happened. As this person continued to study and understand how the mind works and how she was the very power and presence of the divine as her, the circumstances of the job changed all around her. She didn't have to leave the job because she changed her mind. And the job shifted around her. It was a choice to live in the sufficiency of an infinite life. We can all make that choice. We cannot trick it into being, but we can treat ourselves to it. So what choice will you make today? That's the question. What choice will you make today? Will you continue to try to trick, or will you treat? Peace and blessings. You are magnificent. This is the homework. All right, for those of you who are here for the first time, this is where I offer up homework. This week, I would like you to make a list of things that you need to unlearn. These are the tricks, perhaps, in your life. Concepts that may be rattling around in your mind. Concepts like money is hard to get. Anyone ever feel like that? Or the economy just isn't so good right now. Or I'm on a fixed income. Which I always ask, who fixed it? Or here's one that a lot, especially from previous traditions, previous spiritual traditions that people carry with them into their experience of the moment. There is virtue in the experience of poverty. Let that go. Let it go. Look at the list and determine if you are willing to continue to live in those choices, because they're all choices. Extend these beyond the concepts of money as well. Look at the list of things you need to unlearn that are related to your health, to the relationships in your life, and to the creative expression in your life. Look at your life as a whole and say, what do I need to unlearn this week? And determine if you want to continue to live within those choices. Let's all relax right where we are. If there is something that has come to mind in your heart, that is something that you would like to resonate with today, something you believe or choose to believe in this moment, let it be present for you here and now as we drop down. I am dropping down to the truth of who I am. I am dropping down, surrendering in love. I am dropping of who I am. I am dropping down, surrendering in love. Right in this moment, I relax into the infinite space of knowing that there is only one power, one presence, one source of all that is.
It is showing itself as all creation. There is absolutely nothing separate from it. And so I recognize and know that this is the core identity of us, of me, of we, of all of us. And knowing that this is our core identity, I affirm the good. I affirm that the choices we make are rooted in an understanding of the all-sufficiency of the infinite. For there is always more and more and more in the infinite, for that is the very definition of infinite. It is ceaseless. And so I accept the more, I accept the good on behalf of each and every one of us, and I do so with an abundantly grateful heart, knowing that gratitude overflows from within and informs the expression and experience of my life and the lives of each and every one of us. And so, knowing this, I let it be. As I relax, trust, know, and breathe into the good. And so it is. Amen. I am dropping down to the truth of who I am. I am dropping down, surrendering in love, surrendering in love, surrendering in love, surrendering in love.
Thank you. Diane Christie. Please welcome Diane Christie. She is a member of our board of directors. Grateful to have you here, as always.
Thank you. Last time I was up here, I cried. I promise I won't do that again.
You can. That's
No.
acceptable.
It's a choice, right?
Okay.
At a workshop one time, I heard the phrase, "What I focus on magnifies." It was such a basic statement, but it turned out to be one of the great lessons of my life. If I focus on this, I get more of this. If I focus on that, I get more of that. That was pretty impressive to me. And then I had to figure out the step in between, which was what we were talking about, what Jonathan was talking about today, which was changing my mind about what to focus on and what I wanted my life to look like. And I really liked the question because I didn't consciously do the homework, but I live in the homework every week. I think my most important asset is my willingness to explore. And that's that step in between about going from this to that and what you want in your life. Edwina Gaines is a Unity minister who lives in Alabama. A couple of her affirmative prayers are, "I love to tithe where I receive my spiritual food." And in the spirit of candy today, my abundance benefits everyone, and everyone's abundance benefits me. I totally love that. What I give out, I get back. I tithe to that which serves my soul. So my question today is, what serves your soul? What choices do you make? Where are you in your process of this or that? As we talk about contributions, we're not passing the basket right now during this COVID experience, but there are baskets on the back as you leave. Back to the sanctuary, you can give via debit or credit in the bookstore. Online, you can click on any donation link at unitytucson.com. Online, or you can send a check in the mail. Call the office during our regular business hours on Tuesday to Thursday and Saturday. Text to give. Using a smartphone, you can text Unity Tucson to 73256. We're very grateful and for people being here, and I'd like to make a special welcome to the visiting minister and her husband from Manitoba. Welcome. We just met.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, that's right. You're from Victoria now. Yes, you used to be. Okay, from British Columbia. Yay. All right. So thank you for everybody as you work through where you are in your process and donate. So let's share together our statement of divine divine living too, and giving. Is it up there?
It is.
It is. Oh, good. Thank you. Please
Share this gift with
love, conscious of the inner presence as the lavish source and substance of my supply. I am rooted in the assurance that this gift blesses Unity of Tucson, and I trust in its ever-present circulation, knowing its blessings return to me. And so it is.
It is. And
Thank you.
So it is. Thank you so much, Diane. Yes. So a couple of things that are happening around here. What do I have to tell you about first?
I was working in my lab late one night, when my eyes beheld an eerie sight, and my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. He caught on in a flash. He did the monster mash.
Where are we? We are looking for a place called Unity. Is this Unity?
Madam, this is Unity.
Well, what does that mean?
Unity is this place, a spiritual gathering where all can be welcome and who are able to connect with their own divine spirit.
What does that mean? Oh, we're here to celebrate Halloween.
Ah, wonderful.
You know, Hallows Eve, that's the day before the New Year, and we're here to do community service.
Community service?
Yes, you came up in our radar. We heard you want to raise your roof.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think?
Well, did you come to help? I don't see any ladders or hammers, so what do you plan to do?
Oh. Gather.
I've got it. We can raise some money. We are fortune tellers. How about we offer fortunes for $5?
And you can give a little bill, a little bit bigger bill, or a really big bill.
And where do you plan on doing this?
Well, we're going to do it right outside in the lobby. The doors are going to open, and you're going to be right there. Come on, join us.
Well, that sounds like a great idea. Let's do it!
Let's go!
They did the mash. They did the monster mash.
Monster mash.
And it was a graveyard smash.
Monster mash.
It caught on in a flash.
Monster mash.
They did the monster mash.
Thank you, Darwin. Well, that was unexpected. kind of. All right. So, what do I do now? We do have our pledge program going. It seems all anticlimactic now, doesn't it? We have our pledge program that we started, that we have launched. If you would support this magnificent community by offering a pledge for 2022, you can fill out a piece of paper in the lobby, or you can go online and fill out the pledge commitment on our website at unitytucson.com/pledge program. Making your commitment and letting us know what your commitment is going to be helps us make appropriate choices for how we utilize our resources. And so we are inviting everyone to help us with proper management of this magnificent place. Tai Chi with Monk continues. Gentle Yoga with Lynn continues. So check those things out. We are having an indoor community yard sale, as you all, I'm sure, are aware, on November 19th and 20th. What we would like for everyone to do is tell all of their friends. If everybody in this room brought 3 friends or 10 friends, we would be very successful. All the proceeds from the yard sale are supporting the replacement of our roof, and we are accepting, if you have items at home that you would like to donate to the yard sale, we are accepting items through November 16th, and you can drop off items on Sundays or when the offices are open Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. The 80 by 80 Roof Fund continues through November 23rd. If you would like to contribute to that fund, you just need to let us know that a contribution is directed towards that fund. Here's where we are right now: $51,793. We are looking to raise $80,000 to replace our 17,000 square foot roof. 17,000 square feet up there. So please, anything that you can offer is a great help. Today's prayer chaplains are Laura Cass. Laura? There she is. And Sherry Hoffman. No, not Sherry. Deborah, who is right here. If you would like prayer after service, you can see Deborah or Laura, and they will be happy to pray with you. I see that our youth of Unity are in the room, and I would like to invite you all to come up here for just a moment. And Rebecca, in particular, I would like you to come on stage if you would. So we do have a functioning youth program here, and I was at a conference on Monday, the Unity Southwest Region Conference, and we are among a handful that actually have an active youth program that is operating during the time of COVID, and I am so grateful for the way this has all unfolded. Rebecca has really kept this program alive. Through the time when we were completely virtual, she kept engaging with our youth through Zoom, kept meeting every single week, and I'm so grateful for all that you have done to keep it going and to make sure that when we launch again, that we have a magnificent youth program. Rebecca's husband has been relocated, and so today is Rebecca's last day. They're moving to Massachusetts, and I just wanted to honor you. We have a gift for you. It's a little reminder of the desert. It's something that is near and dear to my heart, the image of, well, I'm going to tell you what it is unless you want to open it. Open it, because I would love for everyone to see. Hopefully you'll be able to find a space for this in your new home. It is fragile, so... So I just wanted to let you take a little bit of the energy of the desert with you, with this hummingbird made of glass. And so you'll always have a piece of Unity of Tucson in your heart as well. So thank you so much. I also want to, yes, let's give Rebecca a great big... Yeah. This has not been a single-handed effort. Also, I want to acknowledge Sue for her work in supporting the youth program and the work that she is going to continue to do as well in support of the youth program, because you've been with it all along, all through COVID, so thank you so much as well. I am deeply grateful to you. Thank you so much for all you have given to this community. You are a blessing and you are blessed, and I look forward to knowing about what happens in Massachusetts. So exciting. Thank you so much. Yeah, Rebecca Hayter. I want to say thank you to everybody who made today's service possible. I want to say thank you to Wally and Don and Greg, our tech crew. Yes, yes, yes. I want to say thank you to all the witches and to Darwin and Wanell for coming up with that magnificent little skit and celebrating Halloween with us. I want to say thank you to, well, she's out there. I'm looking over here for her, to Mary for being our keeper of the flames today and for offering her feedback on how the homework went for her last week. I want to say thank you to Diane for your service today as our board member. So I want to know, we have all these magnificent young people here. Is anybody willing to talk about what happened in our youth service today? Here.
So we were very busy back in our room, so would everyone like to share your grateful hearts? Everybody show your work. We talked about great, you show them. You said Jonathan.
That's so nice. Yeah.
So we did. We were talking about grateful hearts and showing our love to Rebecca
Very nice.
and saying our goodbyes today.
Yeah, thank you so much. Oh, so thank you to Chris Paxton and thank you, Rebecca and Sue. I want to say thank you to Linda and the band. Thank you so much for your magnificence today. And let's give it up for Charlie Hall. Thank you so much for sharing your talent with us today. To complete our time here today, we have a very, very short new offering for our prayer, our closing prayer. I would love for you to say this with me. I am all that is. I create all that is. So it is. Amen. If you would like to stand up and move your body, we're going to end the day with the peace song. Peace that was meant to be with God as creator, family all are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Peace has begun with me, and this is the moment now. With every breath I take, this is my joyous vow. Magnificent week, everyone.